The cold wind of December rattled the thin window panes of James's small apartment. The heater had given up the night before, and he had been walking around in layers of worn clothes, trying to keep warm. A glance at the clock told him it was only 6:30 p.m., yet darkness had already swallowed the streets. He rubbed his hands together and sighed. Christmas was just a week away, and James, a single father, felt the crushing weight of reality. Since the sudden death of his wife 2 years ago, life had been a constant struggle. Every paycheck seemed to disappear as soon as it arrived. Rent, groceries, utilities, and the little extras his 8-year-old daughter Lily needed. He had promised himself he would keep Christmas alive for her, even if it meant going without. But this year the reality was harsher. James sat at the kitchen table, staring at a crumpled list of holiday gift ideas. His eyes fell on the pen and paper in front of him. The same paper Lily had used that morning to write a letter to Santa. He picked it up carefully, as though holding a fragile treasure. "Dear Santa," it began in her careful, rounded handwriting. "I don't need toys this year. I just want Daddy to be happy. Please bring him a smile." James felt a lump in his throat. He read it again, slowly, letting each word sink in. Lily had always been perceptive, but this was beyond anything he had expected. Her innocence and love were pure, unselfish. She wasn't asking for herself. She was asking for him. A tear slid down James's cheek, but he quickly wiped it away. He had to be strong for Lily, but inside he felt a warmth he hadn't felt in months. He had spent years trying to shield her from the harshness of life. And yet here she was, worrying about him. That evening, James decided he would do something he had never done before. He would try to make Christmas special for Lily, no matter how impossible it seemed. He rummaged through the closet and found a few decorations he had kept from previous years. They were faded and some were broken, but they were better than nothing. Together, James and Lily decorated their small living room. Lily's face lit up with every tinsel strand and ornament she placed on the tiny, artificial tree. She hummed a Christmas tune, her small hands moving with a joy that made James's heart ache with love. After the decorations were done, James prepared a simple dinner: mashed potatoes, a little turkey he had managed to find on sale, and some canned vegetables. It wasn't a feast, but it was something. And Lily smiled as they ate together by candlelight. That night, after tucking Lily into bed, James sat alone in the living room, staring at the flickering lights of the tree. He felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. He didn't have the money to buy presents or go anywhere fancy. But then he remembered Lily's letter. Her wish was simple: happiness. Maybe, he whispered to himself, happiness doesn't come from what we buy, but what we share. The next morning, James woke early. He knew he couldn't give Lily the toys she had asked for in previous years, but he could give her the experience of magic, even if it was small. He gathered materials from the dollar store, a few coloring books, some small figurines, and a Santa hat for Lily, and wrapped them in whatever paper he could find. It wasn't much, but it was enough to see her face light up. When Lily came down the stairs, she gasped. Her eyes sparkled, and she ran into his arms. "Daddy, Santa came!" she exclaimed, hugging him tightly. James laughed, the sound catching in his throat. "Santa sure did, Pumpkin. He knows you're the best little girl in the world." They spent the morning playing with the gifts, singing Christmas songs and baking cookies. James watched Lily's laughter fill the apartment and felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in years. But the real surprise came in the afternoon. James had been at the corner store buying extra milk when a small, elderly man approached him. "Excuse me," the man said, holding a small envelope. "I believe this belongs to you." James took the envelope and opened it. Inside was a check and a note. "For the single dad who deserves to see his daughter smile. Merry Christmas." There was no name, only the note. James felt tears sting his eyes. He didn't know who had sent it, but the gesture was enough to ease the burden that had weighed on him for months. He returned home and showed Lily the note. "Daddy, maybe this is magic," she said, her eyes wide with wonder. James hugged her tightly. Yes, Pumpkin. Maybe it is. That night, they went to bed with hearts full of gratitude. James realized that Christmas wasn't about expensive gifts or lavish parties. It was about love, hope, and the small miracles that could come when you least expected them. Lily fell asleep hugging her Santa hat, and James sat in the living room gazing at the tree lights. He thought about the past 2 years, the struggles, the lonely nights, the endless worries, and he thought about Lily's letter, how something so simple could change everything. For the first time in a long time, James felt hope. Hope that they could face whatever life threw at them together. Hope that love, even in its smallest forms, could create miracles. And hope that one day he could give Lily all the Christmases she deserved. Outside, the snow began to fall softly, covering the city in a quiet blanket of white. Inside, a small apartment glowed with warmth, laughter and love, the true magic of Christmas. James knew that no matter how hard life became, as long as he had Lily, he had everything. And that, he thought, was the greatest gift of all.